Going on,
Yeah,
man?
go
Welcome
ahead,
to
bro.
the show, man.
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me.
Of course, I gotta welcome you. I gotta give you a good intro here. We have one of Harlem's finest. He's a true MC, and he goes by the name of Dabora. Like a Zoom
Sir.
meeting, might want to watch who you talk to.
100, very, very fitting right now.
It is, and that's off
Thank
of
you for
your.
that. That was a great introduction, man. Thank you.
Oh, of course, and you're a true MC. That's what we do out here. This is the bars. You're raising the level out here, unlike all these other kids in the industry who are trying to
Yeah,
follow a trend, and you know what they do. That's not what you do, but we're here to
yeah,
celebrate what you do and champion what you got going on. But you're from Harlem. You grew
yeah.
up close to the Apollo, actually. Did you ever have a chance to perform at the Apollo?
No, I never got a chance to perform at the Apollo. That actually was a dream of mine, but I just never took I never really attempted to do it. But it's only a few blocks away from where I was raised, and I just never performed at the Apollo though. But we know that's a big Harlem landmark. It would have definitely been historical and meant a lot to me. So but it's not too late.
Mm-hmm. Now, for hip hop, when growing up as a learner and studier of the game, it was your parents who introduced you to hip hop. I know Jay-Z's Volume 3 was an album that you studied closely, especially with his
For sure.
lyrics.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. My dad. So my dad was into music. I later learned. I have an older cousin that was very. He had an independent deal with a label called Select Records. And they signed Kid and Play, if I'm not mistaken, and Papoose, and there were a few artists that were signed there. And I would just see him coming in and out the house, at the wee hours of the night, and just seeing him playing the music. I grew a love for it. And I later found out that my dad used to rap and DJ a lot of the house parties in the Bronx and things like that. So I kind of just picked up on it. And initially, it was just a hobby, and I fell in love with it.
Mm-hmm. Who would you say is the greatest MC to come out of Harlem? I'm curious to hear your opinion on this.
The greatest MC to come out of Harlem. To me, maybe Big L.
Mm-hmm. I agree
Yep.
with that.
Yeah, I would say Big L.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
The big picture.
for sure, for sure.
Lifestyles of the poor and dangerous.
Exactly. Casualties of a dice game. All
Yeah.
of that, for sure.
The Enemy with Fat Joe. Deadly Combination with Tupac.
Exactly.
Classic
Exactly.
tracks.
Yep.
And speaking of classic tracks, and even one that's more relevant as recent is 97 Hove you were able to rap on. Now, did DJ Clue put you up to this, or this was something that you just pulled because Benny did it?
So DJ Clue was doing the Monday night mixtape where he was doing the Instagram, and he was bringing it back and just playing a lot of the old nostalgic records, and playing a bunch of things. And he asked me for a record, and I told him yeah, I'm gonna do this freestyle. And I did it specifically for Clue. You know what I'm saying? So that's why the Clue affiliation is there. So yeah, it was definitely sculpted around DJ Clue and the whole freestyle era.
At least DJ Clue knows what's good out there. Who are some other DJs in New York City, I would say the top tier ones that are tapped in with what you're doing? Because I want to see, are these DJing is really putting on for the real hip hop out here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bunch of them. It's a lot to name. I have a real close connection with DJ Spazzo. He's on Hot 97. That's
he's from Harlem too.
That's for sure. That's my bro. You know what I'm saying? And we have a big relationship. But there's so many DJs that you could think of. DJ Will, that's on 105.1. Clue, K Slay, Peter Rosenberg. The list goes on. You know what I'm saying? I've been fortunate enough to get the support of those guys and people that I've looked up to my whole journey. So, just to see them actually reach back and help and give me that platform is appreciated.
The real question is when Flex going to put you up there? That's the big question.
Flex too. I forgot to name Flex, but Flex too. You know what I'm saying? I actually met Flex at Urban Plaza. Me and Dave East did a show at Urban Plaza, and that was the first time that we actually met. He's been hearing about me and things like that, and we met there. And the next day he was playing a record that I had for weeks. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we definitely got to go Hot 97 and burn down the freestyle. It's coming out. It's coming. It's all in timing, and I would, you know, once the project come out and everything, like I think that's when it'll make more sense.
Mm-hmm. Now, growing up, you had to be nice. It was important for rappers to have skills and appreciate the craft. That's what they did. How come you feel as though that essence of hip hop has just faded away, even though it's strongly coming back? Because that's what I love most. I can't stand the trendy hip hop that's going out here. But how come you think that it's just gone away and not as respected? Whereas though these young kids just don't care about their lyrical talent.
I mean, I think it became more of a business than an expression.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think initially it was all lyric driven. Now it's just about how much money we can make off this music. You know, a lot of people see it as a hustle, and it's like, you know, we passionate about it, and you know, we making music that align with our real life. You know what I'm saying? That we wanna say something. You know, you can't rap forever. So, you know, for me, while I'm rapping, I want to say something that's meaningful. I want to say something that aligns with what I got going on in my real life, and you know, put it in a way that people can, that'll resonate with people. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that a lot of people, you know, but I'm kind of like in the middle with it, because you know, I don't want to be selfish. We have our preference, like me and you, we love lyrics, but I'm not against the people that aren't so like lyrical, because you know, music is it's about feeling, you know what I'm saying? And some people don't like to think, some people don't really care. It's just about the mood and how it makes them feel. So, you know, I don't knock it, but I think that, you know, as long as there's like a respect thing, like I would hate for somebody that doesn't that I would hate for somebody that's not lyrical to try to downplay the lyrics. That's when I gotta be like, bro, you're not even saying nothing on your song, so don't even do that. But I think that there's a pocket for everybody and there is room for everybody. But you know, I was raised on lyrics, so that's just all I know.
Who's someone that you admire most that is not a lyrical rapper? Now this is good. This could be a tough one.
Someone that I admire that's not lyrical. That's a good one. Someone that I admire. I don't really know. Like I can't say there's somebody that I admire that's not lyrical. Like I'm very much a person that pays attention to what's being said. You know what I'm saying? Like I could appreciate a record and say, no, this record is good. He's not really saying anything, but it feels good. But I can't say there's anybody that I admire that doesn't. That just, you know what I'm saying? I don't think so.
No, it's crazy out here. And it's speaking about Rico Love. Rico Love was someone that has given you great advice. He loved what you do with the Lady Records. He was on my show last week, and we talked about the craft of hip hop. And he feels as though the younger generation, they just don't care about what came before them. And I think that's why we're falling into this path where everyone's following one trend. And this leads me to my next question and saying, especially being from Harlem and being from New York, where you see rappers, okay, I'll throw the name out there, A Boogie and all these guys from High Bridge. Whereas Don Q has bars, but some of these rappers in New York, you're looking around, you're scoping out the Brooklyn drill movement. How do you feel as though that these artists from New York, and it's all about a mood where and I've heard you say in other interviews, when you drive to LA, you want to hear LA hip hop. When you drive to Atlanta, you want to hear that Atlanta hip hop. But when you drive to New York, I don't want to hear the trap music. So how do you feel about when artists are from New York hopping on an Atlanta trap sound?
I'm not a fan of the trap sound in New York. If we're talking about demographic, like I would want Chicago music to sound like Chicago. I want New York to sound like New York. I want LA to sound like LA, Houston to sound like Houston. But also I don't want to pigeonhole anybody and, you know, lock you into a sound. Like somebody that's like ASAP Rocky, that's one of my close friends. He got a lot of flack when he came out for the Houston sound. You know what I'm saying? And he was just being creative. He was being expressive. So I can't say that, you know, I can't knock nobody's way of, you know, creating and being expressive. If he was influenced by 3 6 Mafia or whatever the case may be, then so be it. But for me, you know, like I said, if I go to LA, I want to hear music that sounds like LA. If I go to Atlanta, I want to hear rappers that sound like Atlanta. Like put me in that mood. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't knock it, but, you know, I would most definitely, if it was up to me, New York would sound all the way like New York. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
and that's why we need people like you, and these
nah,
DJs
for
need to put
sure.
the microscope under you, because I don't think there would be too much garbage out here. But it's a shame
Yeah,
that the record labels are holding city carding, but that's okay. And
yeah.
as we move into the further discussions here, your top five consists of Kanye, Jay-Z, Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and Jadakiss.
You said Jay-Z?
Yep.
Jay-Z, Jadakiss.
Kanye, Kendrick Lamar, and Drake.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. That's your top
I have to
five.
make sure because sometimes it changes.
Sometimes it
Sometimes
changes.
it changes. But yeah, like I love Kendrick's composition. I love Kanye's composition as well, production, and just how he's fearless when it comes to producing. You know what I'm saying? And sonically, like there's no barriers when it comes to Kanye. Jay-Z lyrically, Jadakiss lyrically. Fab is in there too. I will put Fab in there. Sometime like I just love music, man. You know what I'm saying? And those are the artists that I really connect with as far as like their frequency and just the music that represents them.
When we bring up artists, and I think this artist should be in the top 10, and he doesn't get enough credit. He does, but he's not listed in the top 10 as well as the whole Terror Squad. I'm going to bring up Big Pun.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Pun is an animal. Well, Pun was an animal, like 100%. Like, I don't think that he fully gets the credit, but Pun was a beast, man. Pun was a beast.
Capital
Crazy.
Punishment. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, like it's so many Pun songs that I just listened to. What's the record with him and Ashanti? How We Roll.
How We Roll.
I listened to that record maybe like a week ago, and I was just catching so many things that I've never caught then, and I'm just like, yo, Pun was so crazy. You know what I mean?
Was that
Pun
off
was
of
crazy.
Endangered Species?
I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that one. I don't remember, but that record was dope.
Yeah, and people forget about Fat Joe too, because he was nice. It's just that Pun was so huge lyrically.
He got overshadowed.
Yeah.
But Pun was. Fat Joe was dope too.
Yeah.
I lived in the Bronx for a while as far as projects, and Pun is from. Joe is from Forest Projects.
Also, that's where you were from when you were in the Bronx.
Yeah, my mom and my dad met. Yeah, I stayed in the Bronx for a while. So, Pun is. Fat Joe. I used to see Fat Joe and Pun all the time, man. And so I have a different kind of love for Joe. I fuck with Joe.
Yeah, legends. He just dropped a new project too. What Would Big Do 2021? Make sure you go check that out with DJ Drama.
Yeah, for sure.
We're moving right along here. And in your early teens, you actually had the opportunity to have a meeting with SONY.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You ran into someone that was in the camp of Missy Elliott as well. How did this all come about at such a young age?
So I have a cousin. Shout out to my cousin Shay. We had a meeting with SONY, and I had a record, and they were interested. And the record only had a verse and a hook. The song wasn't even done, and they wanted to do a deal. Like, it was $1 million single deal, and they wanted me to finish the record. But at this time, I wasn't as I hadn't like really mastered my thing yet. So I was getting stuck when it came to that record for some reason. And long story short, the deal fell through. But in the midst of that, like, I was seeing Missy Elliott's bodyguard and all of these people, and they like, yo, take my car, do this, do that. So it's like, it definitely was a moment. It was a pivotal moment for me, because at that point I felt like, okay, like, I started as a hobby, but seeing how the people reacted to me in that industry, in the music industry, I was like, yo, I really can do this. This is something that, I should take serious, seeing that, the guy that I sat with is the guy that signed Cash Money and gave them all the money for they deal when they had the situation with SONY. Mm-hmm. Well, Universe, which I can't remember. But so I was like, I might have something. Word.
Has there been any other talks with SONY? I know you're currently independent, but has there been any future talks here since then with SONY or any other record label?
Yeah, there's been a few. Like, it's even now, like, there's a few. But I think my thing now is, just making sure that I pull my own weight, and I really capitalize and do everything that I need to do So, you know, when it is time to sit with somebody, we have leverage.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think independent is the way for a lot of artists, and
Yeah,
unless a right deal
100%.
comes forward.
Yeah, I mean, if I do a situation with somebody, they're gonna have to meet us halfway. It's not me going to a label trying to sell myself. Like, yo, either, you know what I mean, you're gonna have to be familiar with what we got going on and what we capable of and how strong we are. And then, you know, we're gonna have to meet in the middle somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Fate, all I know. On iTunes, it actually says, because I still buy my music. I'm not like everyone else who just streams it and doesn't pay artists money. Fate,
Thank you,
all I,
man.
yeah. Fate, all I know. The date on there says 2013, I believe. Was that album released in
Yeah,
2013?
yes.
So
Yep. So I
you've been waiting a while then to drop a new, and I think that's coming soon. I think that's coming soon, the
yeah,
new album.
very, very, very soon. You know, I think with Fate, I hadn't put a project out in a while before Fate, you know. So I think Fate was like, you know, my dad likes to call it the soundtrack to our lives because we believe so much that everything happens for a reason when it's supposed to happen. And at that time, it felt like, you know, just like I said, it felt like everything was happening, and it just was a reminder, you know what I mean? Like a lot of the songs don't have hooks on them. It's just like raw, like rap records, because I wanted to show people that, you know, I was still sharp when it came to rapping. You know what I mean? Like that project was more so for the people that was familiar with what I got going on. It was just something for them, you know what I'm saying? And it happened to turn out, and it turned out to be a bigger project than I expected. So, you know, I'm grateful for that. And yeah, I didn't put one out in a while, but I'm at like the 90% mark now with my new project. So it'll be out very, very soon.
Mm-hmm. Who's
Yeah.
someone that we can expect on it? I think Dave might be on this.
Dave is on it.
Mm-hmm.
Dave is on it. I got a record with ASAP Ferg on there.
Fire.
I got a record with Jim Jones on there. Um and my homegirl from Chicago, her name is Jennifer.
Mm.
Yep. And I got production from Araab. It's a bunch of things. Like it's dope, man. And I'm excited, and I want people to hear it just to see the growth. Um, I can't wait.
I think every day was a snippet.
Every day, yeah, for sure. Like every day was, it's crazy, man. Like I make the records that align with like how I'm feeling and what's going on with me, and I think that was like a clear indication of that. You know what I'm saying? Like even the video, like the video was in LA, and that's how that record made me feel. And everything just happened organically. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't really like, yo, I'm gonna record this song and then go to LA, shoot the video. It didn't happen like that. Everything just like happened, and it kind of fell in place.
No, it's going to be crazy. But when can we expect this to release? Is it going to be the end of the year? Is it going to be next
No,
year?
definitely not the end of the year. Like I want to like very soon. I mean,
Oh, it's
like
gonna be there. Okay.
let's say 3 months the latest.
So
You know what
we're
I'm saying?
talking
But
November,
for sure, maybe before then.
maybe before
I'm
then.
literally at that point where it's like I got a few records, if that.
That's going to be correct. What do you think is going to be the biggest song off there already, since you're at 90% with it?
Um, that's a good question, man. The biggest. I'm not sure. I'm not sure because, you know, like when I approach, like I don't like any fillers on my project. You know, like I want every track to be able to stand individually, but still have this cohesiveness and this like sonically, I want it to still sound like a whole. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure which record would be the biggest record, but you know, I hope that the people find a bunch that they love on that project.
And that's something I like that you said, whereas you don't want any fillers on there. Throughout your career so far, I mean, you've had tracks with Capone from Capone-N-Noreaga. Love to hear how that came about. That's a low key legend right there.
Yeah, for
Cameron,
sure.
Davies, Jim Jones, we know it. Who have you enjoyed going bar for bar so far throughout your career with on a song?
I would definitely say Jim.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jim stepped his shit up lyrically so crazy, and our chemistry in the studio is like, oh yeah, like you that's what you're gonna try to do? Okay, bet. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's fun. It's very fun when we create records, and you know, like I would definitely say sparring with him is fun. Dave too, though. Like Dave too. Like me and Dave got a record where we going back and forth. Araab produced it. It's dope. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I have a lot of fun working with Dave too.
Yeah,
Yep.
Dave's a beast. He doesn't get enough credit. I call him the king of New York, but you know, all the hype beasts are gonna say
Shout out to Dave.
people are gonna say that a Boogie or someone with a Lil is gonna be the king of New York. Not my platform, they're not. But
Yeah.
you know, with the lyrics that you got going here, Jim Jones reached out to you. He wanted you to get on a Harlem project that you was a part of, and that's how the connection happened ever since.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, he had a project that he was trying to do with a bunch of, up and coming talent from, from the town. And that's originally how we connected, and then we just built a relationship from there. I met him one night. I've been knew Jim though, just from seeing him out in the town, and we had a bunch of situations where I played records for him and things like that. But I think right now was the time, and we got in the studio, played a bunch of records. He was like, "Yo, you know what I'm saying? Yo, come back tomorrow. Let's do some shit." And then tomorrow came, we worked, and then it was like, come back tomorrow, come back tomorrow. And that's it. We probably got like 15 records sitting somewhere. You know what I mean? And I want to say that 80% of them is produced by HeatMakerz. So it's like it's dope.
Legendary. And we've seen
Yeah.
throwback videos of you and Araab music in the studio too.
Yeah, I met A. The funny thing is, like, that's why like my love for Dipset is what it is. Because before any of them knew who I was musically, I was just a fanatic. You know what I'm saying? Like I love Dipset, and they was a perfect like representation to me of our town. Flamboyant, fly. You know what I'm saying? The music was dope. And I was dealing with Cam, and like right before Cam had signed Vado, I was working with Cam, and that's how I met Araab. Yep.
Legendary. These are going to be stories to tell someday when you
Yeah,
drop
for sure.
your biography, especially with the
That's
album.
why. That's why I like my interviews so much. That's why in the interviews, I try to like touch on it on a surface level because, when I go in depth one day, with the story and eventually a book or something, it's gonna be dope, man. It's gonna be dope.
It's going to be, it 100% is. And just getting into the other people that you collaborate with. How did Fetty Wap come about? Because Fetty Wap he was huge at the time. This was the biggest artist in the game. Once he came out with Trap Queen, it was over.
Yeah. So Fetty Wap I met through my cousin Shay. So my dad has a bike club. My dad, he's, he has a bike club called GHB, Go Hard Boys. And Fetty Wap is actually down with them with their bike club. So one day we ride to Baltimore. He's like, yo, I'm gonna go meet Fetty Wap. Come on, we out. We go, we meet, and we click. You know what I'm saying? Like we had a vibe that was very natural, and and I seen him the next day. I met him in Baltimore. I seen him the next day because he had like a video game release. Like it was like an app that he had on the iPhone. And I met him in the club. And he said, yo, what you doing tomorrow? I'm like, chilling. He's like, yo, take my number. Let's get in the studio. Let's work. And it kind of happened like that organically. Like Fetty Wap is one of my favorite artists. I think that like his tone and the melodies that he found are unique. And, I never heard anybody like him. I think that he has his own thing with him. And just seeing it firsthand, like there's a method to what he does, you know what I mean? And he does it effortlessly. So, I appreciate Fetty Wap. I think that he's dope.
He definitely is. And Fetty Wap, we continue to look forward to the new music that he's got coming out. He's got some classic records out there. Capone, you recorded a track with Capone. I believe it was at a time when you were younger, this happened.
Yeah. So once again, Shay, because Shay, my cousin Shay, he was managing me at the time. So Shay had a relationship with Capone. And I remember, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say we was in maybe Queens or I don't know. Don't quote me on the location, but I remember we was in the studio, laid a record. You know what I mean? I had to be about 15 years old, 16. You know what I'm saying? And I was raised on CNN, so that alone was like exactly. You know what I mean? So that alone for me was like it was dope. It was an experience. You know what I'm saying?
A check mark. It's a
Yeah,
legendary
for
career in
sure,
the making for you.
for sure, for sure.
Dave, I'm going to assume you met him just throughout your whereabouts in the city and seen him around.
Well, I met Dave. Dave actually hit me on Twitter. Like we was he had hit me on Twitter like, yo, let's work. And we would DM back and forth. And I think the first record that we did is on one of his projects called Gemini. I think it's on Apple Music still. It's a record called Harlem World. This had to be in about 2013. And that was the first record we did, but immediately like we clicked. You know what I mean? Dave's super cool. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we clicked and we talked, and I spoke to Dave today. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's a very organic relationship. Like the music is the easy part. You know, like me and Dave was actually talking about doing a project together. We got so many records. We got well over 10 records.
That's
You
what I was
know,
going to ask
so
you, because he's doing these collaborative projects. I saw he did one recently with Millie's.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we probably do it. Yeah, like we spoke about it so much, and you know, like Dave, my nigga. So like, as long as it's done the right way as far as the music, because I know the potential. If we got together and we really put our minds to it and sat down and really molded this project and the sound, I know it'd be dope.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
but
going to
that's my
be.
niggas. Yeah, that so but it's on the table. So I mean, actually, you should expect it because I'm sure it will happen. Word.
Uh, but speaking about your inspiration from Dipset and all the legendary artists in the game, especially who had the clothing statements, the jerseys back in the day, you're someone that's very into fashion. You even had modeling opportunities for Gucci and
Yeah,
Adidas.
yeah, yep. So those two opportunities came from the music. You know, like Gucci reached out, actually modeled for Dapper Dan's line on Gucci. So that was like super Harlem, you know, and that was a, you know, bucket list thing for me, you know, just to model for a brand of that caliber. Like, you know what Gucci is and in the fashion world. And even with Adidas, like, you know, another thing, you know, it's kind of like surreal to me sometimes just seeing like the seeing me like realizing that I'm working with these companies. It's kind of surreal. You know what I'm saying? Like I just recently did Stadium Goods. That's like a popular sneaker store that's in New York. And even that, like that was dope. Like I get FaceTimes and random like people tagging me because they put the picture in the store. So, you know, I get the random post like, yo, I seen you in the store. So, you know, it's just dope. It's another outlet for me. I've always heard that like I have a distinctive look and that I needed to capitalize off of it. And you know, like I don't have a model agent or anything like that. Like it just all comes organically and naturally through the music and the platform that I've built musically.
And here we go. Would you create your own line, clothing line? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I definitely would. I definitely that's something that I thought about. I mean, now I just help my bro, like my man GS, he has a clothing line called New Life,
Mhm.
and I help him with that. You know, just as far as like creative direction and things like that. But eventually I probably would start a clothing line. Probably. I
Mhm.
think right now before I would do clothing, I probably would do a fragrance line.
Okay.
Yeah, like that's something that I'm really into. But yeah, like I would definitely touch on that because you know we enjoy looking good. You know, we like buying all the, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, why not? You know what I mean?
Why not? And even in your everyday video, you have the Nike Air Force Ones, of course. You even
Yeah,
referenced that at the beginning of the song. What's your favorite type of
yeah.
sneaker?
My favorite type of sneaker? Um, good question. Um, oh, that's a good one. It would probably be a hmm, probably be a basketball shoe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Air Jordans, or are you more into the Nike territory with LeBron and Kobe's?
Nah, I would probably would go with the Jordan ones.
The Jordan ones, the retro ones. Those are classics.
Yeah, I probably would go with the Jordan ones.
And you're someone that doesn't like when someone starts paying close attention to your style. Once someone starts wearing what you wear, you want to change it up because you don't want to be like anyone else. This is why I
Man,
wear Ewings.
yo, man, I hate that, man. Like if I wear something and people take it, I will go into something else. But like, you know, I gotta embrace the fact that I do have some type of influence on people. You know what I mean? And but that's just how I've always been. You know, I've always had I always like to do what everybody's not doing. You know, so if somebody is wearing a like I said, fragrance. If somebody's wearing a certain fragrance, I don't want to wear that because I don't want to come in the party smelling like you. You know, if somebody's wearing a certain brand, I don't want to wear that brand because I don't want to come looking like you. So, you know, but at the same time, I can't knock it. Like I get DMs from people that tell me like, yo, I bought this hat because you wear it. I bought these sneakers because I learned about it through you. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm not mad at it.
No, no, it's you can't be, and this is why this thing's just happened for a reason. But do you have a pair of Ewings? Have you ever had a pair of Patrick Ewings being from New York?
A pair of Patrick Ewings that I have. I don't think I ever owned a pair of Patrick Ewings. I know the ones that I did have. I don't even know if these are Patrick Ewings. I know the colorway. I know it's a Knicks colorway, but the top 10 Metro Adidas, the high top ones. I'm not sure if
I
those are
think they
Patrick
they
Ewings.
did have something to do with Ewing.
Yeah, well, though I never had those, but at one point when I was younger, I remember my cousin had them and I wanted them bad. So yeah, if I did go with a pair of Patrick Ewings, I would go with those.
You go with those. We could break into a little sports talk here. Being from New York, are you a fan of the Knicks?
100%.
100%.
100%.
You're not
I,
like Big
I'm
L.
I,
You're a fan. That's good.
I'm a fan of the Knicks, man. I watch the Knicks, man. Even when they horrible, I still try to give them some type of faith through the screen. Like, man, what we doing? Let's get it together. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still Knicks. So 100%.
Who's your top Knick of all time?
Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo, number 7.
That's
He's on the
my
Lakers now.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he on the Lakers now. I don't know how I feel about that because I'm a Bron hater on the low a little bit.
No, I don't
But
like him either.
yeah, I'm a little bit of a Bron hater, but you know, I guess I got to deal with it because Melo is my man.
I don't like that cupcake in Brooklyn
Melo
either.
is my favorite player. My favorite player of all time is Kobe. You know, but now Carmelo Anthony. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, there's better players and there's people with more accolades, but my favorite is Melo.
Yeah. Melo
Yeah.
is one of the greatest of all time, especially with the Knicks. Those are memorable years right there. Even though we didn't win and Phil Jackson sold them a bad bill of goods, but at least we got Kemba Walker coming to New York now.
Yeah, I'm excited
Bronx's
about
own.
that too. And especially, I was about to say, especially with Kemba being from the Bronx. Kemba played for Rice High School. If I'm not, I believe he did play for Rice, right? Yeah. Yep. So, you know, that's dope, man. Like we need that energy back. We need that energy back. We got to turn this around because Knicks got a real negative stigma when it comes to basketball. They think that we just can't do it.
Yeah.
We got to turn it around, man. We got to do it.
We do. We also added Evan Fournier, extended Julius Randle. We made the playoffs for the first time
Julius
in 8
Randle
years.
had a hell of a season, man. He did. He was turning up, man. He was turning up. So I'm excited to see what this season looks like. You know, I'm Knicks tape, man.
Yeah, I'm Knicks tape too. Forget the Nets though. Forget Brooklyn.
Yeah, I don't really like the Nets. I mean, they New York at the end of the day, but I'm Knicks.
Yeah,
all the way.
I agree. I'm not a big fan of the Nets. They can keep Cupcake KD over there. I'm not. I'm not a Nets fan in any way, shape, or form. But I want to get to your everyday video. Just thinking about that, a question that popped into my head. When you have that intermission, when you're in the car, who's talking? Because is it a famous rapper? Because I can't make it.
No, it's not a famous rapper. That's my cousin C.
That was your cousin. Okay, because I hear it in there. This sounds like us. This 06 on steroids.
Yeah, so pretty much what he was saying, like that sound kind of gave him the nostalgic feeling when we started, you know, we really started figuring out our sound and the energy that was around the sound. So, you know, I played a record for him and he was like, yo, this sound like us, like this sound like back in the days, but new. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't even know the camera was rolling. It kind of just happened organically. And, you know, I just threw it in there, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's my cousin C. Shout out to C.
Do you have any upcoming performances planned here in the near future or anything? I know with COVID, you still have it out here with the Delta thing. It's blowing up all over the place, except for New York and all the tri-state area.
No shows right now due to the COVID. And I kind of been like stepping back from the from performing just so I could figure out like, you know, my sound and what I want to say and the whole, you know, the narrative behind, you know, my direction. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of step back a little bit as far as that goes, just to, you know, regroup and figure everything out. But, you know, as soon as I know, you know, it'll be everywhere and I'll post it up and shit like that. I would love for everybody tuning in, whoever come pull up and enjoy it, because I think it's gonna be dope.
I believe with your independent record label that you do have artists signed to it. You're working
Yeah,
with other artists. That's good that you've
yeah,
already become a mogul in your own right of being an independent artist and understanding the ins and outs of the business and taking care of other artists and putting them under your wing.
yeah. Shout out to Just, shout out to Grand, TM, my cousin Juice. Yeah, it's a bunch of us. And it's not even artists that I just, you know, picked up from everywhere. These is my family for real. You know, and they're not just with me because they're my family. I truly believe in every one of these guys individually, you know, and you know, we going up together, and whatever platform I have, they have, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So why not?
Yeah, why not? For the upcoming project, I know it could be November, it could be sooner. Have you thought of a title for it?
I'm still going back and forth as far as title goes. But I got a few. I got a few. But you know, once I'm concrete, I'll definitely put it out there. But I'm excited about it, man. I want the people to hear the music. I think that it's gonna show the growth. It's gonna show, you know, why I believe I am one of the greatest rappers to me. Um, I'm just excited, man. I'm excited.
Mhm. Once you hit the home run out of the park here, and now you're in pinstripes because the Mets they're not hitting anything right now. Once you hit the home run out of the park at Yankee Stadium here, who do you want to be on that track with you first that's huge in the game to go bar for bar with?
um, bar for bar. Oh, that's a good one. Um, I mean, if I'm gonna go all the way. I'm gonna go Jay-Z,
Jay-Z, okay.
100%. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna go Jay-Z. That's my favorite rapper of all time. You know, I have a list of rappers that I appreciate and that I think is extremely talented. But as far as like um as far as rappers that I really, really love, and it's Jay-Z. Jay-Z.
Jay-Z. Now you studied Volume 3. Is that your favorite Jay-Z record though?
My favorite Jay-Z album, yeah, Volume 3.
Volume 3.
Yep, Volume 3. But I like Reasonable Doubt. I like the Black actually. Black Album is my favorite Jay-Z album. But
That's a classic too.
but the album that, you know, after Black Album would be Volume 3, because you know, I told a story somewhere like my dad. I remember riding with my dad and him breaking down some of the lines. I had to be about 8 or 9 years old.
That's right.
You know, so I was old enough to comprehend, but you know, I was just listening and it sounded good on a surface level. But he said, "Yo, you ain't even catch when he said this," and I was like, "Oh, that's crazy," you know. And I think that that's something that helped me hone my skill and, you know, create the whole. I mean, it just helped me, you know what I mean? It helped me understand lyrics. It helped me understand like that other level where, you know, the double entendres and, you know, however it may be. But so that album will always have a special place in my heart.
Mhm. You know, this is your interview, so we got to end on a high note here. What do you think is your greatest bar that you wrote?
Oh shit.
I opened up the show with one, and because we were doing the Zoom interview.
I mean, I guess right now, my greatest. I don't know greatest, but right now I would say, um, I done managed to stay dry through another storm. And I done set myself on fire to keep others warm. And I think that that line is so powerful, and it speaks to, you know, just being selfless. You know what I'm saying? And I think that it's a timeless bar. It's not like a bar that's like, uh, I'm number 7 in New York, like Carmelo. Like Carmelo's not in New York anymore. You know what I'm
No.
saying? So it's like a timeless bar, and I think that there's emotion behind it. And just off the top, that's probably a bar that I would say at the moment.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one to end with here, man. Is there anything else you'd love to tell the audience as well as the show and people who watch this interview?
I mean, for the new listeners, for the new viewers, man, Dub Aura, Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud, however you know, Google, whatever you want to do. For the people that are familiar, thank you for supporting. You know, the project is coming very soon. And you know, I'm just excited, man. I'm excited to turn it up and go crazy.
Yeah, and that's what you're gonna do.
And stay tuned. Stay tuned. Look forward because I got a bunch of things coming.
And they can follow you on Instagram and Twitter at Dubaura.
Yep, DUBAURA. Everything.
Make sure you go check that out. Go check out all of his music on all platforms. The visuals are on YouTube. He's everywhere. Stay tuned to his next project. Man, would love to have you back on the show once you do drop that new project.
Nah, for sure. Let's do it. This was dope, man. This was fun. You asked some very good questions. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, man. And you know, you're welcome anytime. I'm looking forward to what you got. All right, Dubaura, I want you to enjoy the rest of your night and stay safe, man. And I'm looking forward to this new music. Keep being the great MC that you are, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you, man. Keep it up. Everything you got going on. Anytime you need anything from me, I'm a text away.
No doubt, man. You got it. And like I said, we're looking forward to everything you got coming, though.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. Peace.
Have a good one.
You too.